Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, and relationship expert, here to talk to you about fatherhood. It's very easy to think that when a couple decide to have a baby, or even if they have one unexpectedly, that they're not overjoyed, thrilled, looking forward to it, and so many dads want to be taking paternity leave and enjoying every moment of it and being involved in every single way. That's all true. But it doesn't mean that dads don't have a particular and unique experience of feeling that the baby is going to change the nature of the relationship between dad and mom when mom and dad become parents. And many prospective dads that I've worked with, and Ian in the book, From Feeling Unwanted to Wanting to Feel, Trapped by the Burden of Being Perfect, fits into this category. All he wanted his whole life was to have a family, as many kids as possible, with a lovely home and a partnership, because he didn't have that growing up. And he was really surprised to find that when his wife became pregnant, he was actually scared of the new baby. He was scared that mom would want to be with baby all the time and he would be ousted. Would he be allowed to do things with the baby? What would the sleeping arrangements be? It was just terrifying for him. And he also felt that he had to change somehow to allow the baby to be the number one person in the family, which is true when they come along, and that he would be pushed away again, just like he'd always been pushed away as a child. And he had terrible dreams about not being able to protect his family. He thought there was another burden on him. Now he had to prove that he was better than his own mom and his own dad and his other people who had stood in as parental figures in his life. And it was just very, very, very difficult. But most of all, he feared that his in-laws would see him as inadequate, useless, and just take over, and that his wife would do everything that they wanted and never listen to him and just push him into the background. And it was very difficult. But I'm telling you all this because it's real and it happens. It's not unusual, it's not bad, and if you're a prospective dad or a prospective mom, expect these things. Talk about it. Don't keep it hidden and be embarrassed about it, because it's real. And when Ian in my book had his second child, what he was terrified about was this little tiny office he had, home office, that even that would be taken away because now it was going to be babies. And he'd never had a place of his own, a little room of his own, and he had to give that up. And when the baby takes all the energy away from the marital relationship into parenting, everything gets turned upside down, topsy-turvy, sideways, any ways you can. So fatherhood becomes a very dangerous experience, or it can be, if these things are not talked about. And of course, Ian in the book is ashamed to talk about it. He feels like he should do better than everybody else in his life and in his wife's life to prove that he's worthy, that he's capable, that he's the best, that he can be relied on, and that his family is special. So when he had feelings of anger towards any of his children because they were acting up or playing up, that they wouldn't sleep, they were crying all the time, they wouldn't leave their mom, they came in between him and his wife in the bedroom. He was so ashamed of these feelings. How could I feel this way? They're my children. I wanted them. I made them. How can I be angry with them? How can I be jealous of them because they're getting the love and attention I never got? How can I be so angry with them when they're just playing because they make a mess and I can't tolerate a mess? He was so ashamed and so wanting to be a good dad. and yet feeling very real feelings and very true feelings and very appropriate feelings of being angry, oh, I could kill you, or why can't you just be quiet, go to sleep, haven't you had enough stories, haven't I given you enough, and so on and so forth. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because it's normal, it's appropriate, but it can get sickly and it can get festered and become a pussy wound if it's not spoken about in a normal way. And if you read the book, you will see how I helped Ian to overcome and tolerate his own feelings and not feel like a bad dad, because he's a good dad, and having these feelings doesn't make you a bad dad, it makes you a normal dad. So read more about it in my book called Ian, From Feeling Unwanted to Wanting to Feel, Trapped by the Burden of Being Perfect, because Ian tried to be a perfect dad and he couldn't.